All right, we're good to go.
Thank you, Jeremy. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. This is the Next Generation Asset Insight and Shipment Tracking webinar. This is episode 2 of our webinar series. The webinar is being recorded, so you can come back and review it again if required. And if someone is unable to attend, obviously they'll be able to see the recording as well. Your sound is muted. Please enter your questions in the chat. We will send you a follow-up email after the webinar. My name is Patrick Verdugo. I'm the Director of IoT Product Management for Claro Enterprise Solutions in the USA.
Hi, my name is Martin. I'm Senior Digital Business Consultant for IoT Solutions. I'm working for A1 Digital. I'm located in Vienna in Europe, and we are the digitalization vehicle in the A1 group, and so also for America Mobile. And I'm happy that I will be here today, co-hosting together with Patrick the webinar about shipment tracking.
Thank you, Martin. I just want for everyone's edification, Claro and A1 are sister companies under the same umbrella. So just so you know what the relationship is. Go ahead, Martin.
So, as already mentioned by Patrick, today we're in episode 2. So we have a 3-episode webinar. The first episode was last week. A quick recap for everybody who missed it, also for everybody who was in. What we did last week, we presented the basic structure of our asset management system, how such an asset management system is built up, and which parts such an asset management module needs. Basically, as a very quick recap, you need IoT tracking devices, trackers, you need the connectivity, and you need a platform where you can save all the data, where you can collect the data, and where you can give access for your employees, for your staff, for your customers, that you can actually work with this data. We will post the link of the recording also in the chat later on. It's available on YouTube. You can also find it on LinkedIn. And also this webinar will then be recorded and provided.
I want to mention very quickly some of our differentiators because I think it is important. Our trackers are multi-carrier based. The SIM is embedded. It is an eSIM. The connectivity is included. And because we're multi-carrier, we can provide connectivity where some of the other vendors that might have similar solutions may lose connectivity. And I think that's an important differentiator. The other differentiator, which makes us unique, is the fact that this tracking device can be reconfigured from the platform. So you can change the behavior. You can change geofencing. You can change frequency of reporting. You can change sensitivity. What to do if it's in motion, or what to do if it's standing still. So those are some of the things I just wanted to quickly highlight.
Thanks so much. So this week's episode is actually focused on the topic of shipment tracking. This is also one criteria which is a bit different in our solution than the common solutions of asset tracking. So we have different modules in one platform combined. Beside the asset management module, we have also the shipment tracking module. And in the following minutes, we will guide you through the process. So what is the typical shipment process looking like? How does this work together with the technical solution then? And we will also give you some practical examples, how this is actually used and how you could use it also in the future in your company. So let's kick it off. We have here identified or shown the automated shipment lifecycle. So typically the first step is always a product order. So the product order can get to you in different ways, of course. It could be via an online website, it could be via an email, it could be even via a sales representative. But the important thing is you are getting the order into your system, And this is actually always the same, no matter if you are renting out some gadgets, some assets, if you are selling assets, or if you are the transport company and you are the logistic company to transport it from A to B. It's always the same. You're receiving the order.
One item to also mention is when you accumulate your orders, which typically go into your order system and also become recorded in your ERP system, we provide a high degree of integration so we can actually pick up the orders from your ERP. A good example of that is SAP. We have very strong SAP integration, but it is by no means the only ERP system that we integrate with. We integrate with many, many others. So we have a rich set of APIs that provide this integration point.
The next step is then normally that you create a digital twin. So our system enables you to create a digital twin to your normal shipment. So you can have all these details, the shipment number, the delivery details, like where would you like to deliver to? Maybe it's a physical address, maybe it's some GPS coordinates, and you have also then the notification areas and also some participants who should get actually notifications and who should receive information by the system. So this, as you can see, you can enter clearly into the system.
One of the important points to note here is the fact that the notifications are configurable. So if you have a customer that is perhaps concerned about having availability for receipt of the goods, and they want to get notified when the shipment is near their destination, that's one of the things that you can easily configure in the platform. You can send notification alerts from far away, or you can send notification alerts when you get very close by. And these notifications are sent to the end customer via push notification messages, without them having to log into any portals or provide any credentials. They simply get a push notification message. They can click on that message on their mobile device or tablet, and they can basically receive a view of the map and where the shipment is.
One important information to add as well at this slide is all this information for the digital twin in the logistics system can also be synced, fully automated via APIs. So as soon as you get the order in, you have it also as digital twin in this system. The next step in the logistic chain is then you can include a tracking device. As you can see also here, this could be inside a box, this could be outside the box, this could be at the pallet, this could be at the container. So the important thing is that you add the device to your shipment so that we have live information then later on, and that we can give this transparency which we want to provide for you and for your customers.
And one of the things I'd like to highlight is the fact that that device can be, for example, if you're shipping a vehicle, if you're shipping a crane, if you're shipping a generator, a large heavy piece of equipment, it can be physically attached, it can be magnetically attached, or it could simply be included in the shipment. So you can throw it inside the box, or you can put it at the pallet level, and as Martin mentioned. So there's a great deal of flexibility regarding how to attach the device to the shipment.
As next step, the shipment is on the way. So no matter if this is by your own means of transport, or if it's an external company, if it's a small vehicle, or if it's a big truck, it also doesn't matter if you have certain different unloadings and reloadings and changes of means of transportation. As long as the shipment is on the way, you will be able to receive live information and also live notifications.
I'd like to point out this could be using a third-party shipper. For example, there's companies like DHL, the United States Postal Service, UPS, and many others. It could be a private company, it could be a public company, it could be even your own trucks or other trucks from other vendors. So all of regardless of the method of transport, which could be by ground, by rail, by air, the truckers will report the location information.
As a next step, and this was already quickly teased, you can configure different checkpoints. Typically, we have at least one checkpoint per shipment, which will notify you that the shipment will arrive soon. And at this point, I have to say it will not only notify you as our customer, it will even notify also your customer, so the customer's customer. We are calling this the client view. Optional, you can set as many checkpoints as you like. So you can set one checkpoint 10 miles away, another checkpoint 50 miles away, and a third checkpoint 100 miles away. This means that you have different notification levels, and the receiver knows upfront when the shipment will arrive at the destination.
Part of the flexibility of the shipment notifications includes the ability to notify multiple recipients. As Martin mentioned, it could be at different distances, but also it can go to different people. So it is another feature that you can configure. And the actual message that you want to send is also, of course, can be tailored to meet your requirements.
As a next step, you have received the information that you will get it soon, and now the destination is reached. So the handover will take place of the delivery, of the package, of the pallet, whatever. The nice thing is you and also your customer, you know it upfront that the parcel has reached the destination, because the tracking device is directly updating all this information into the system and also can notify you about that step.
It's important to remember also that the goods that are being delivered could be at the truck level, at a pallet level, at an item level, at a box level. So you can have one or more trackers. Maybe you have a delivery where you're delivering goods to multiple customers, and you can have different pallets that go to different customers. You can track each one separately and individually and get the status of each one as they progress along the route, as an example.
So now actually the package is delivered, the destination is reached, so the delivery is done, but we have still some more process steps. So we are using multi-use tracking devices. We are not using trackers which you need to dispose. This has also something to do with our strategy. We as A1, we as Claro, we have a strong ESG strategy. So we have also environmental targets. So we are using reusable trackers, so you can recharge them, you can get them back, and therefore we have established processes with our customers. So the customer, as soon as he has received the goods, can just send the tracking device back to you, and you can use it for the next shipment as well.
As an example, one of our customers basically includes a small UPS or FedEx box with the return label already printed, and the instructions to the receiver are to just put the device in the box and have it picked up. Another important point is, while our trackers are fully rechargeable, just to give you a sense of how robust they are, the battery life on these chargers, if you are reporting 4, 5, 6 times a day as the shipment progresses, that battery should last at least 6 months and possibly even up to a year with that frequency of reporting. Some in the asset management side, if you report only once a day, that can last up to 2 years. So yes, it's going to come back, but it doesn't necessarily need to be recharged right away.
Correct. And this is then actually the next step. So the device reaches back into your warehouse. So there is typically a process where you collect the devices. Then if you need to charge them, you can do it. But in most of the cases, like Patrick mentioned, you can even do more shipments with one charge.
Also note that the device reaching the warehouse actually generates an event. So we know that the device is back. It's in the platform. Not only are we receiving it, there's a receipt process, but we are electronically recording the fact that it is back inside our location.
And this leads us already to the completion of the full process. So now the device is back, the device is automatically released, and it's marked as available for the next shipment in the system, so that you can just assign to the next shipment and use it again.
Just a little note, you'll see that the device that is shown there doesn't have any markings on it. In effect, it does. The real devices or the production devices have the serial number visible. And some customers put QR codes or even barcodes so that they can scan them as they return to be placed back in available inventory for the next shipment. So that's part of the procedural setup that can be done in order to manage these devices as they go and come.
So this is how we deal with the requirements of our customers and which solutions we have found for it. In the next couple of slides, we would like to give you a clear overview what are now the differences between a classical asset management and a shipment tracking system. So asset management, where we mainly focused last week, as you can see here in the screenshot, we typically are focusing on one asset. So we are attaching a device to one single asset. We see exactly the GPS positions, we see the routes, we see the zones where they have been in, we see the start motion events, we see the stop motion events. We can also track temperature ranges. We can, of course, track the battery level of the devices, but everything is quite focused on one dedicated asset, and we would like to get some information about this particular asset.
One of the things to highlight as well is the fact that because we're tracking an asset, we can configure things like sensitivity, when it starts moving, when it stops moving, what to do if it starts moving. We can also geofence the asset. If it leaves a prescribed area, we can generate alerts. If it enters a prescribed area or a defined area, we can generate alerts. So there are many features and capabilities to address the needs of a specific valuable asset.
The difference now to the shipment tracking system is, as you can see it also here in the screenshot, we are not only focused on the process, what you can see in the middle of the screen, the shipment history, the different milestones, the checkpoints which are configured. We are focusing on the fact that this system is not only used by our customers, but also by our customers, so by the clients. And the clients are not interested in each and every detail of a certain asset. They are interested in when the parcel, when the delivery will actually reach the destination. And this is exactly what you can see here. So you can see in red the initial position, or actually the current position, which is here somewhere in Germany, in Europe. And you can see the destination in blue, which is somewhere in Poland, also in Europe. And on the right-hand side, you can see the different steps. Currently, it's in delivery. It hasn't reached the checkpoint yet, because the checkpoint is configured to just 10 kilometers before arrival. And this is how we have set up the platform. So also from the web user interface, we've put a high focus on the usability.
I'd like to add, because it's kind of inferred, but just to be clear, this is a global solution. I can track a valuable asset within the continental United States. I can track it because it's being sent to Canada, Mexico, any country in Latin America. It could be sent overseas. It could be sent to Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia. This is a global solution. So we can track assets and we can track shipments, not only regionally, not only within country, but also globally.
Already a quick teaser. Next week, in the next episode, we will facilitate and go into detail much more about the techniques, how we are dealing with the different roaming situations, and how we will do that. For this week, we have brought some use cases which are relevant to track. The first one here, as you can see, are pharma shipments. In this use case, typically you have high value of goods. So if you're shipping something, the money amount is a lot. So it's worth a lot. And so therefore, the supplier, so the shipper, but also the receiver, the customer, both have a high interest to know exactly when this package will be delivered and where it's actually currently at.
One point to add when we talk about pharma, for example, is that there are medicines that are sensitive to temperature, and we can track temperature as well as GPS location. So we can make sure that these medications, like for example, insulin, which is very sensitive to high temperature, has to be kept cold. It's part of a cold chain. we can track the temperature along the way and make sure that it wasn't exposed to high temperature, as an example.
Another use case is to track quite expensive parts. In our case, it's actually racing engines. So if you are transporting racing engines from A to B, typically the receiver also has very high interest to know when these parts will actually be then on site. And exactly for this, we are using the same solution, the same processes to fulfill the customer needs.
Racing engines are critical, of course, for NASCAR and other race events, and they are very, very expensive. So even the manufacturer tracks the racing engines and has access to the tracking information on the platform even before they become part of a shipment.
And we have brought a third use case as well, which is highly time critical. So typically, if you have ever been at the trade show, you know it, there is a lot of equipment in such trade shows. And this equipment has to be brought there somehow. And not only the suppliers, but also the guys on site who will then build up everything, who will use it for the sales presentations, have a very high interest that all this equipment is there at a certain point in time when they need it to build it up and to use it. And also, therefore, we can use our solution.
And one point to highlight here is the fact that many of the monitors, the tables, the chairs, the pedestals, many of these things you see in trade shows are actually furnished by companies that lease the equipment. So they have a high interest in making sure they recover their equipment, they store their equipment, because they have to move it from one show venue to another show venue, which means they want to know where their equipment is at all times, not just while the show is going on, but also during shipment. So this is of particular value to people that furnish equipment for trade shows, as an example.
Thanks so much for adding this. And now the question is how to make this more practical. How could you even start with it? How could you test it? Therefore, we created something which makes it very easy to start and to test it.
So we have a trial offer with 3-month duration, 2 trackers, which include multi-carrier connectivity, plus our platform with all of the capabilities for asset tracking and shipment tracking, including setup, support, 24/7 multilingual support, and training for $199 all in. After 3 months, you can return the devices, or you can keep the devices and move forward with an implementation. This is valid through December 31st. Sorry, Martin, apologies there. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for participating the second episode of our Asset Insight webinar series. I hope you enjoyed it. Focused a lot on logistical processes. Next week, we will be back, same time, same place, so same link, and we will talk about the details, the technical details in behind the solution. And we will give you a live demo, so you can see not only screenshots, you can see the platform, how everything is working together, and you can also then check it out on your own. Thanks so much.
I want to add one closing note, because it's always good to know. The platform currently supports tens of thousands of assets that are being tracked and thousands of shipments. So it is a very robust platform which has been in production for quite some time and is available, obviously, globally. Thank you very much for participating, and see you next week.